Good evening and salutations, my Days of Our Lives fans. I'm sorry this is coming out so late. Work was kind of a long day, so but let's get into it. You know what? We're gonna kind of get some of the boring stuff out the way. And this is Eli and Lonnie. Pretty much, they get in the house. Lonnie tells Eli that, she thinks that somebody's following her or whatever. She just has that feeling. And then she kicks Eli out because their wedding, I think, is the next day, and it's bad luck for the wedding. So she kicks him out. And the only thing that I kind of found funny was the fact that Eli was like, well, since this is your idea, why don't you leave? And I was like, I would be backing that 100% if she wasn't pregnant. Because, Lonnie gave excuses like, oh, well, I have my makeup here, and I can do my hair here, and I have my dress here, and I'm like, and all that stuff could be somewhere else. So this excuse is pretty flimsy. But anyway, she kicks him out, and that was pretty much about it. They talked about the wedding. She kicked him out because of bad luck and superstition, and that was really it. Let's talk about Kayla and Lucas. Kayla and Steve. Whoa. Let's talk about Kayla and Steve. So they bump into each other. They have this awkward dialogue. And then Kayla asks, do you want to come to my wedding? Why? Just why? And before Steve can actually give an answer, Kate comes in. And Kate is all like, hey, so key to the city? Key to the city? You want that key to the city? And then she's all like, well, Kayla, you think he's a hero, right? Tries to get Kayla to kind of like jump in or whatever. And finally, Steve was like, all right, I give in. I'll accept the key. And Kate was like, all right, yay. And then she went away. And then, because at one point, because he didn't answer. He didn't sit there and say yes or no. He was like, is Justin okay? You think Justin will be okay with me going to the wedding? And then, Kayla was like, well, I'll talk him into it. He'll be fine, And that's when Kate came in and pretty much saved his ass, because Steve was just like, well, no. Kayla was like, well, I guess you have other plans. And then he calls her sweetness. And I'm like, bro, you cannot be friends with this woman. It's just not gonna happen. He apologized, and she's like, no, it's cool because it brings, good memories and stuff like that. And Steve was like, well, I doubt that Justin would see it that way. Then they talk a little bit, and he calls her sweetness again. Like, oh my goodness, seriously, bro? And then he's all like, I hope that we can be friends. Nah, bro. Nah, that whole friendship thing is just, no. No, y'all can be, like, co-parents, yes, but, like, friends? Nah, I feel like there's just way too much history and way too much raw feelings for them to just go back to being friends. Nope, I don't see it. Anyway, he gives Kayla like the really painful look or whatever and says, I just want you to be happy. You can see the pain all over his face. And then he walks off. And I'm like, Kayla, seriously? You can't see that this man is in pain? Okay. I can go on and on and on about how she's just not seeing that every time he talks to her, he just has this big flashing neon lights that's just like, I'm in pain that you're with somebody else. I still want to be with you. But whatever, sure. So yeah, he leaves. And honestly, tell you the truth, I think he should thank Kate. He should thank Kate. Because Kate got him out of a really bad, awkward, uncomfortable, and emotional scene that he would have regretted later on. Trust me, he would have. Um, let's talk. So, let's talk about my second favorite scene. This is Lucas, Will, and Sonny. So, from yesterday, they're sitting there talking about adopting Allie's baby. And Lucas is like, well, I don't think that's a good idea because I don't want her to feel pressured. She already wants to give away her child. I don't want her to feel pressured anymore into doing something that she may not be ready to do. And then Lucas is like, listen, here's the thing. She may say yes now, but how you know she may not change her mind? I don't want that for y'all. Also, have anyone ever considered what the dad may want? The father of this child may want? Because he has rights too, and he can come in and he can sue for custody. And then Sonny says something along the lines of, oh, he probably was just some horny teenager. And that's when Luke is like, wait, I was in that position, and it wasn't good when I was there. And I sued for custody, and I missed precious time with Will because of that. So trust me, you don't want to do that. And I was like, wow. Okay, Lucas. Voice of reason. I'll give him that. Impressed me. So he said that, he left, and then it went all out the goddamn window. Because Will was like, so, I don't think it will hurt just to ask, right? And so he's like, yeah, no, why not? I mean, I'm in if you're in. Did no one hear a word what he just said? Or did just no one just gave two F's about it? They were willing, well, Sonny was willing to go over there right then and there. And, I mean, Will was really go over there. And Sonny was like, well, it's kind of late. She could be tired, being pregnant and all. How about we just wait till tomorrow? Until we do the exact thing that Lucas told us not to do. On the other side of town, here's the thing about Allie. And by the way, earlier Allie did run into Xander. Because apparently, for whatever reason, you gotta run with your shirt off. And Xander said something really stupid, but I'm not gonna really get into that. So yeah, the thing with Allie is that because she's so young and a teenager, kinda, I guess, or probably like barely 21 or 22, is that Allie hears what Allie wants to hear. And the minute that Allie hears something that she doesn't want to hear, she's like, screw this, screw that, I'm out, I'm leaving. That's just the impression that I get from her. And I get it, she's emotional, she's scared and stuff like that, but there are people that are trying to help her, and she's just like, well, if I don't want to hear it, then I'm gonna act like a brat. And if I want to hear it, then I'll listen. And that's just how it is with her. And it's like everyone is there walking on eggshells because they don't want to do anything to, have her run off or, be really emotional. So sometimes it's kind of annoying that they're seeing scenes with her when people are trying to give her advice and she's just like, but I don't want to do that. I want to do that. And that's it. I'm like, oh my God, seriously? Nicole and Eric was playing mattress tag, and then they walked out, and Allie's just sitting there, and Allie's like, well, I want to have my baby up for adoption. I want to give my baby away, and I want Rafe to be the father. And pretty much the only thing that they say to her is like, well, here's the thing. Rafe just lost a child. He's still raw. He is still raw. Maybe he may not be receptive, And I'm just there thinking, even though that Allie has good intentions and she thinks that Rafe is, really good and just a Boy Scout, which he comes across as, which is fine. My favorite superhero is Superman, so whatever. You can't replace one child with nothing. He may not be ready to have another, child come into his life so soon. But anyway, after Eric says something that Allie doesn't like, Nicole kind of smooths things over, and then they talk, and they're like, all right, well, you can ask Rafe, but just understand that he may not agree. And then that scene ends. Now we're gonna get into Sarah, Margaret, or Sarah, Maggie, and Xander. I don't really understand Sarah to some extent. I'm trying to, but I get it to some extent, but I feel like she's just so volatile. It's hard to understand if she actually listens to people or she just jumps down somebody's throats the minute that somebody says something that she doesn't like, without even giving it a second thought. Because she's talking to her mother, and pretty much Maggie's just like, well, you might have forgiven him, I mean, you kept the wedding dress. You didn't just keep it just because it looked nice. You can tell yourself all that. You can tell yourself that all you want, but it may not be. It doesn't mean it's true. And then Sarah gets all like, "Oh, why are you defending him? Or why are you sticking up for him? And this, that, and the third, and da 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 da." And then she really gives her mom the business. I was like, "Wow." So I didn't really like that, because I think that the mom was just meant to try to help, and I'm like, wow, Sarah, that's nice. Real nice. Good job. I hope she felt like shit after that, to be honest. I really do. Xander comes in. I need another. And I swear, I feel like Xander is just, in some ways, he's just broken. This guy is just broken. And I get that his thing. I'm just coming into this. There are people that have been watching the show longer than me that want to see Sarah and Xander get back together. And I'm trying to understand why. But this guy seems like he is so broken that I just don't know if he's actually really capable of truly loving someone. And it sounds sad to say, but he does things that he thinks is great at the time and doesn't really consider what he's saying or what he's doing. When he just walked up the alley, I don't think that he really knew her like that, and he was just like, "So how far along are you?" Dude, seriously? What man walks up to a woman and says, "How far along are you?" Y'all ain't best buddies. Y'all don't talk like that on a regular. Why the hell would you ask that question for? And then he talks to Sarah, whatever, and he's like, "Oh, well, what if I can give you another child?" I'm like, bro, seriously? So he gets into this whole speech about how Allie is pregnant and that she is thinking about giving the baby up for adoption, so why don't you take Allie's baby? I'm like, bro, so you just let me just get this straight. You just thought it was a good idea to tell a grieving mother that, oh, by the way, there's somebody else that's going to give up their child, so why don't you just have that one? I mean, the look on Sarah's face just pretty much, it was almost everything encompassed of what I was sitting there saying. Well, pretty much she gave him the business, let him have it, and then Xander was like, "Oh, well, I didn't really think of it like that, or I didn't really sit there and think, and I was sitting there trying to do this or that and the third." And after a while, it was just like, beep, 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 beep. Just, pretty much Sarah just went off on him and was like, "You know what, I'm going to take you on your offer of you just leaving." You can just get the hell out the damn house. I don't know where you're gonna go because you don't really have a job, but I guess you can try to cozy up with Jack if he's feeling benevolent. And that was it. That was it. That was pretty much the end of the scene. Even after Xander was like, "Oh, I'm sorry, this, then, third," and you know, she was like, "Yo, just leave." And you know, she's sitting on the ground, crying her eyes out and everything like that. And I was like, "What the hell?" I felt like I don't understand this guy. Does this guy not understand social cues? Because he walked into the room, and she already looked like she was upset that she already had an argument with her mother. And he came in, and he gave her flowers, and she was like, "Thank you." And I would have been like, you know what? You're probably, yeah, I'll just come back later and we'll talk about this later on. Granted, there would have been no time to talk about that, but just the fact that he walked in, saw that she was upset, and then said, "Hey, listen, I have another baby for you." I mean, this man really felt like one child was just going to replace another one. Like, that was just okay. In his eyes, he actually thought that he was doing a good thing. And that's my problem with him. Is that's his type of thinking is why I just feel like this guy is just broken. And why I feel like if Sarah takes him back at some point, because I feel like that's what either the fans want or what the writers want or something, but if she takes him back after everything that he did, well, you are getting exactly what you deserve. And it could not have happened to a better woman than you. Because to be honest, it is better for Xander to be with you than to be with somebody else and screw up their lives. Anyway, that was pretty much about that. Yeah, that was yeah, that was pretty much about it. That was pretty much about it. Sorry, I know I kind of went off more of a tangent than like reviewing it, but I just it's not problems with Xander from Jump, okay, and seeing that on top of his other decision of taking her embryo and giving it to somebody else, it's just that guy's broken, and he is toxic, and anyone that he really encounters with or he decides to be with, I feel really sorry for him. Like, even him being a friend to someone. Anyway, that's gonna do it for this recap. Or this review. Actually, no, fuck it. This review. Thanks for watching. I know this came out super late, but I really appreciate for anyone that actually watched it. Let me know in the comment section what you think. What you thought of this episode. Did you like it? Did you not like it? What was your favorite part of the episode? And all that good stuff. Thanks for the comments, all that good stuff. I know I keep saying that. Have a good day or good night, depending on when you're watching this, and I will catch you in the next recap.